DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Inside to Stevenson, up against Kaminsky, fucking good in the ball!
Chantel, all the way to the basket, foul, lays it in for
2! Hey, high school basketball fans, welcome back to another season of the Upstate Hoops Podcast here on FingerLakes1.com. It's our season premiere episode here on Monday, December 15th, 2025. I'm Jim Sinacropi here in the FingerLakes1.com studios along with Paul Russo and Kyle Evans. And we got a great show. We released our first power rankings last week, but we'll show the updated power rankings here coming up on this show. We'll also share with you some of the results from the past week in boys and girls high school basketball in the Wayne Finger Lakes, and also a look ahead at the week in front of us. But first, the Upstate Hoops Podcast and all of our coverage of Wayne Finger Lakes high school basketball is brought to you thanks to the support of Little John and Barbie Orthodontics. Check out Dr. Rod and Dr. Liz online at littlejohnortho.com. And Cicino's Pizzeria and Restaurant. Order online at cicinos.com. And DeSanto Propane since 1937. The difference has been DeSanto Propane. Great to have all the sponsors back for another season of high school basketball coverage here on Finger Lakes 1, Little John and Barbie Orthodontics, Cicino's and DeSanto Propane, great supporters of our local high school athletes. So, Paul, Kyle, we've been following the action. First time we gotten together to talk about it. As always, with a new season, there's new faces, new teams. Some of our favorite players from the year before have moved on. But I think it's been a pretty good start to the season overall.
Yeah, it's been interesting. We're entering, week 3 technically, right? Mm-hmm. So, a little bit of my preseason thoughts have kind of, I guess, through scientific method here, hypotheses have kind of held true. Others not so much, but that's the beauty of it, right? You don't quite know fully here. Usually the best way to go about it, right, is to wait until we actually get to January, these first few weeks, especially in December. Usually there's only one, maybe you get 2 games in a week just because of the way the schedule breaks out with holidays and stuff like that. So we'll see how it fully breaks out. But yeah, it's been one of those years where I feel good on the prognostication portion of things here early on, but we'll see how it fully shakes out as we get going.
And Kyle, you've been at it all night with a nightly update, so you haven't missed a thing. Anything stand out so far in the first couple weeks?
I would just say it's a slower start because you got teams that have only played 2 or 3 games. A lot of them are even non-league games, not even playing teams in their league. There are a lot of teams that have, a lot of turnover because of the seniors that are lost. One that comes right to mind is the Marcus Whitman boys. They're going to be down this year because of that. Of course, the main team, Lions, is always going to be there. But, yeah, I still think there's a lot of unknowns, and I think we still might be surprised by some of these teams.
Yeah, I've always done this for a few years now, and you always, the previous season always ends on such a high note. There's usually 4 or 5 teams that make a run into sectionals, some beyond, and you're just, just excited for them. And then, they'll lose 3 starters off of that team to graduation, and you don't know really what to expect. But I've always found that as we move into January, new names emerge, kids come up from JVs, a team who might have had a couple guys playing supporting roles or gals, this year they got to step into leadership roles. So you're never really sure how that'll play out, but it's always fun to see it play out. So before we get to the power rankings, I guess let's take a look at the last week of action here in the Wayne Finger Lakes. Anything stand out to you, boys?
Boys side, I don't fully know if a ton necessarily jumps out this week in that sense, but Newark takes on Aquinas, takes them down. Pretty big eye-opening thing there. Because
Yep, they are scheduled tough.
coming off of the way kind of last year fully went to this year, they've been one of the brighter spots, I would say, on what to expect or not expect on that side. And then Waterloo Minders faced off early season for them.
That was a huge game, great atmosphere in the gymnasium.
Yeah, that was a big early win for Minders against Waterloo, obviously. So
And then didn't get any easier for Waterloo after traveling to Geneva. I mean, that's it's not even December 5th. Well, it's December 15th today, but two of Waterloo's biggest rivalry games have already happened, both on the road.
Yeah.
And both losses.
Yeah, they came out of the gate pretty good there. Played in a tournament off the heels of Thanksgiving and kind of jumped out to a pretty good record-wise. But since then, back towards that 500 mark. So we'll see. They're another team that graduated some familiar names to them, but a couple did return, obviously. And
Peterson kid's putting in some points.
Aiden Willett as well. Kind
they
of came on the scene last year a little bit.
They added some depth with a transfer from South Seneca, Benjamin.
Yep.
But I was impressed that Minders won that game. And, I saw Elijah Dole help lead the way there. Now, he's a great soccer player. And you see this a lot where a kid's a really talented athlete. And in Elijah's case, it's soccer. Now he's on the basketball team, not known as a basketball player, but just general athleticism and that mindset that you get from playing any sports. It's going to be a big help to Minders this year for sure. And he reminds me of a kid from Newark, Ben Coles, who's now in the was in the Yankees organization. Now he's with the White Sox, but he was a great baseball player. But he was also the glue guy on a sectional championship, and also the Minders beat him one year too in the Blue Cross in the final. But he was a baseball player, but he was a huge part of the basketball team too. And, another thing, Kyle, I noticed is, like, we all knew Cam Blankenberg wasn't going to be back at Wayne for his senior season and Coach Bill Thompson's final season as coach. But these Wayne Eagles are still pretty talented, and it's a great example of they were always talented. But now that Cam's gone, they all have to step up, and they seem to be doing so.
Yeah.
A big win against Minders this week.
Yeah, so they have Aiden Twist, who a lot of people are familiar with from last year, that helped out Cam. But then they have Richard Miles, who is now a junior, I believe. Yep. And his brother Jack has all of a sudden come on, and he's a sophomore. And he's been kind of like their second scorer this year. I know they've only played 3 games or whatever it is, so it's tough to tell. But, like, he's stepping up as a sophomore, taking over. Like you said, in Minders the other night, just blew them out in the second half, helped by him. So maybe, as much as Cam Blankenberg is a huge loss, maybe they'll still be in the race for the Finger Lakes East because they have these guys that you probably wouldn't expect to step up.
Yeah, I think they will, and it's actually pretty exciting looking at the Finger Lakes East. Should be highly competitive. We didn't talk about Geneva yet. Fantastic squad in Newark, who went and beat Aquinas this week and has a lot of familiar names back on their roster. So should be a great year in the Finger Lakes East. But also one of the big stories, Kyle, is Landon Washburn from Honeoye back for his junior season, is it now?
Yes.
Just lighting it up.
Yeah, so I actually been keeping stats this year because I'd like to know, like, averages and stuff. So he's game 1, 34, game 2, 38, game 3, 37. He's averaging 33 points per game right now.
Man, these games are only 32 minutes long, too.
And
so
keep in mind, too, he's not playing some of these fourth quarters.
Right.
He's being taken out early. A lot of these scoring performances, he's scoring 21 in the first half. Mm-hmm. So it's amazing what this kid is doing and can still do. And I don't have the number right now, but I'm sure I can get it soon. Last I knew, he was over 1,400 points.
Yeah.
And again, he's just a junior, and he's putting up numbers like this in the first 3 games.
His brother's on the team, too.
Yeah.
Also up there in the box scores.
Yeah, so I think they're a really balanced team, and they didn't really lose anyone either from last year. So that's one of the other top teams, I think, for the boys this year.
And they got a matchup with Lions coming up, which is really interesting and kind of odd. You don't see Honeoye and Lions square off very often.
Yeah.
So take a look at the girls. Week that was. And you see a mixed week right off the bat there for Minders defeating Geneva, but then I think they lost to Wayne, if I can find it up there.
It was this past Friday when they lost to Wayne.
Yeah, no, as the Wayne girls also beat Geneva. Good week for them. Looks like Dundee Bradford, who's traditionally been one of the strong teams in the girls' side of things, is a little down this year. And Romulus off to a good start, which is really good to see. A lot of tradition there in Romulus, and we'll see if they can regain some relevance. And a great start for the Lions girls. You see there, they beat Sodas 93-14. I mean, I don't know.
Just a 79-point win.
Yeah. Gananda girls are always good. But if you're looking at the West, I really like Marcus Whitman. Liz Royston took over the program probably, 5 or 6 years ago now. And she's really starting to see the fruits of her labor pan out.
Yeah, a few kind of, I guess, roundabout notes here in a way. Whitman pretty much brought everybody back on the girls' side. They graduated a couple, but pretty much everybody's back there on that side of things. So obviously I'm going to be behind the Wildcats kind of all year on that sense of things. But you mentioned Romulus. Coach Damon Nicholson earned his 300th career win last week with that win against Sodas.
Congratulations.
And I think now he's at 301 because they won on Friday as well, or Thursday.
Yep, 301.
Week. So, yeah, congratulations to him, obviously. And, the Royals are rolling down.
The Romulus Royals, not the Warriors anymore.
Correct. So,
Was that new this year, or was that way last year?
I think it might be 2 years now.
I'm not sure because I don't ever use their their mascot name because,
They're usually not newsworthy, I guess.
They're never in a headline. So, this is cool that we're finally getting, his 300th career win, storylines like that.
Yeah, Romulus has brought state championships in girls basketball this century. And traditionally have had great teams on boys and girls, but it's been a rough past decade or so for both sides of the program. And I know that there's been some talk about, merging maybe with South Seneca, another south end of the county in Seneca, program that's got some state accolades. So keep an eye on that. But like you say, good to see Romulus, getting off to a good start.
Yeah. Another thing, too, Wayne County girls, I think, might be one of the better races to keep an eye on all year. Obviously, we mentioned Lions. Clyde Savannah's off to a good start. Ganonda's off to a good start. Williamson Marion's off to a good start.
Yeah, which is really good to see. It's boys' side, too.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where we might be having a handful of teams from Wayne County being able to make pretty good runs here as the year goes on. Something to keep an eye on.
The Carter Valley girl in Clyde is off to a good start to the season, kind of elevated that program.
Yeah, she was someone that I think followed closely last year, and I actually have her numbers here too. She's just reached 1,200 points the other night, and she's averaging 23 a game this year over 3 games. And she actually had a 30-point game in the season opener against South Seneca. So, yeah, I think Clyde's going to be there all along with Lions, but I also would say don't count out East Rochester either. We don't know what we're going to really get from them, but, they are 2-2. They're right there too, so I think it is the best race on the girls' side.
Yeah, I agree. And you got to love when we're talking about Lions and Clyde at the top of the league, because it's one of the best rivalries in local high school sports, if you ask me personally. I can remember watching Drew Carnevale. I don't know the relation to the Carnevale girl on Clyde now. Might be sister, might be cousin, and we'll find out. Yeah, those Clyde teams had some great games against those Lions teams, and Clyde actually got the better of those when the Derek Chance was leading the way with Drew Carnevale, and then towards the end of that was when Justice Smith was just a freshman and sophomore, and then when Justice Smith for Lions became an upperclassman, they kind of knocked off Clyde, and those were some of the best battles that I've seen personally.
Yeah, and one quick thing, Clyde, the boys are struggling right now, but they do have a Carnevale too, Jaden, who's just a freshman, and he's averaging 24 a game through 4 games, and actually had 29 points the other night. So that's a guy that they're kind of leaning on and a guy to pay attention to.
I think when you look at Lions and Clyde over the past few years, Clyde seems to be able to lack the depth in the program.
Yeah.
Lions, they just keep coming, right?
Yeah.
But Clyde, it seems like, even if you got 1 or 2 guys, your fourth, fifth, and sixth guys just haven't traditionally kind of been what you needed to make a run in the Wayne County League, or let alone sectionals. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that's what Geneva and Honeoye have too, which is why they're the favorites. They have the depth. They have other guys that can step up in situations where these other teams maybe have a guy or two, and that's it. And if they're off, their team is in trouble. So,
yep. And you can also, if you're playing against a good team, you can obviously scheme against one guy, but you can't scheme against five guys.
Yep.
So, yeah, we're underway, and with that, I think it's time to unveil our Week 2 power rankings here in the Wayne Finger Lakes. So we'll start with the boys, and Newnham wasn't Lions number 1 last week?
No, Geneva was.
Oh, they were, okay. So still no change at the top. Now, my ballot actually had Lions at 1. That's why I was thinking that. I don't want to give away any inside baseball stuff here. But you can see it's obviously very close. Geneva with 29 and Lions with 28, and part of our voting process. And then it's been a long time since you've seen a Wayne Finger Lakes West team break up that high into number 3. That should tell you something about how good we think Landon Washburn is. And then Wayne, without Cam Blankenberg, no problem. You're still 4th in the power rankings. Ganonda boys, really impressive. A lot of names, Grassel and Vogt, that we remember from last year. Newark, I don't know. I think Newark be a little higher than that, but they're in at 6. Minders sneaks in at 7 ahead of Waterloo. There's the ER boys and Pell Mac. And, I also had a vote in there for Williamson, which I don't know.
Williamson, for me, I have them as the first team out looking in right now.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Which is exciting.
The bottom half of the boys is tough this year to figure out. So, as long as they keep winning, that's the way I vote. If you win and do your job, you'll find yourself in there eventually.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of winning, if Lions wants to jump to the number 1 spot, 2 weeks from tonight, just beat Geneva head-to-head.
Head-to-head.
It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all my rankings were pretty spot on. Now I think about it, though, I should have moved Wayne up above Ganonda because that win over Minders was really impressive. I liked how Ganonda was undefeated too, but maybe Wayne is probably the better team because they're in the East. And
well, that's the hard part is sometimes we'll give the benefit of the doubt when we do these rankings, which mean nothing. They aren't used for sectional seeding or anything. It's for fun. But we'll look at a team from the Finger Lakes East and we'll just assume that the 4th or 5th place team in the Finger Lakes East is better than the top team or two in other divisions. Maybe not as far as Lions is concerned, but or maybe Honeoye this year. So, but this Ganonda team, I think, it might be serious here. A lot of problem too. We haven't looked at sectional classifications yet, but if Ganonda is in the same class as Lions, it's always tough when you're in basketball in that Class C group with that Lions team too.
They might be B this year again.
Yeah, they might be, which would probably. Yeah. Well, hey, if they're going to play Lions in the regular season twice, so that'll be fun to watch too, where we get a gauge on how the Blue Panthers are looking.
5-0.
Yeah.
And they have 3 guys right now, again, keeping track of the stats, who are all averaging over 11 points. They have Hunter Vogt, 18 a game, Cooper Grossel, 15, and this Owen Schweitzer, 11 points per game.
Yeah, and remember the Grassel and Vogt names from last year. They were among the leaders on last year's team, so good to see them, come back a little older and maybe ready to make their mark this season.
And they play Lions Wednesday night. I know we're going to do those upcoming games. But
yeah, that's this
who
week.
knows? A big test.
Yeah. Well, that's what we like to see, we talk a lot, but the action on the court's what really dictates, wins and losses, obviously. Girls' power rankings, week 2. Well, look at that. No problem for the Lions, Lady Lions. They're actually number 1. And you don't see that often either, where they'll be ranked higher than the Lions boys on the boys' side. Newark girls, kind of a bit of a sleeper. The program's just getting a little bit better and better the past few years after kind of really struggling for several years. And of course, don't need any introduction about the Waterloo girls program, coming off a state championship and 2 years ago now. 2 years ago, yeah. and a lot of familiar names on that squad. And then we mentioned Liz Royston and the job she's doing at Marcus Whitman. Clyde Savannah in the 5th spot, and then we go back to the east for Penn Yan. Wayne girls with a couple big wins this week. Williamson Marion, again, I think I had Williamson Marion maybe 6th. I think combining those schools, those programs, a couple especially, well, they're both historically, if you go back maybe 15, 20 years, they were both pretty good programs. So combining together, they're stronger, I guess. Gananda girls always tough. And Minder's dealing with a little bit of an ankle injury, I think, for Reese Markle, who adds a lot of size and experience. Peyton Verkey also kind of leading the way in terms of scoring. They had a tough week this week. I think they're better than they showed this week. But anyways, they round out the top 10. So any thoughts on the power rankings on the girls' side, week 2?
Yeah, I mean, Penn Yan's been a nice surprise so far to start the year, rolling off some wins. 2 teams to keep an eye on. I know we kind of mentioned a little bit. Wayne, I had personally just on my outside looking in. They've been a really good surprise so far for what they've been doing. And then I know they're on the way outer fringes here, especially, but they're in the Wayne Finger Lakes. They're in the Finger Lakes West. HAC girls, 3-1.
The Wolves.
So we have to keep an eye out on
The
them
boys
as
had
well.
a decent team a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'd love to see some HAC action. Harley, Allendale, Columbia.
And they just they have a 1,000 point scorer. Cadence Brecker is the name. That was actually opening night. So yeah, she's over that mark, and
First one of the season.
yeah, she's averaging like 24 a game too. So that's why they have a winning record. But for me, I couldn't put Williamson Marion over Gananda because Gananda just beat them Friday night in their building
Yeah.
to hand them their first loss. And it's hard for me because you look, Lions played 2 games, Waterloo 0 games, Newark 1 game, Marcus Whitman 2 games. And again, a lot of them are non-league games. You don't know what you're getting yet. so
Speculating.
it's hard, yeah.
Yeah, to piggyback off that too, like I know Bloomfield, they've only had a couple games themselves. I still think pretty highly of them.
1 game, yeah.
I mean, Cal McCombs kind of highlights the team package they're kind of returning and stuff.
They're not even in their top 10.
Yeah, I had them personally in my top 10, but like
I did too.
It's tough because like we don't know where to go with these right now because, like you said, Kyle, right? We have teams who haven't played yet, teams who only played like 1 or 2 games. Like it's a lot of shooting at the dartboard and hoping you hit a bullseye when you don't know what you need.
Palmac girls conspicuously not in the top 10. They've been pretty much a staple in the power rankings past few years. I know, of course, they lost the point guard.
Aaron Goodness.
Goodness, yeah. That's a huge loss.
Yeah.
But I still recognize a lot of names on the roster. And again, they might need just a few weeks to kind of get their new flow going with the different roles for different girls.
Yeah.
I think basically what we're telling the audience is don't overreact by our power rankings.
Right.
Because it's actually even hard for us to rank them because of the games played. So just, give it some time. And again, for Lions, just beat Geneva in a couple weeks. And
But that's the key part, right? Is to do an adage I've had to use across multiple different platforms from multiple different sports here in the past few weeks. If you just win, you don't have to worry about anything
Right.
anyway.
We don't award victories or sectional titles from the broadcast booth here. They're won on the court. So we're just trying to make it easier for our viewers and fans of high school basketball locally to get a better feel for the the entire landscape of the Wayne Finger Lakes here in Section 5. So that does it for the power rankings. Now let's take a look at the week ahead. And we'll start with the boys. Any matchups other than that Lions Geneva game stand out for you?
ER and Honeoye tonight, which is another rare non-league matchup in that space.
Tonight.
Yep. There's a few of them, like Geneva's at Wayne tomorrow, Wednesday Lions at Gananda, which we kind of touched on a little bit already.
Palmaga Waterloo's interesting too.
ER is at Lions as well later on in the week. And then I always have to shout it out, even though we don't really cover it, but Canandaigua at Victor's always a
That's a
pretty
fun
good
one.
rivalry.
Fun
And
one.
they turn it into now, like we go back to a lot of times, doubleheader boys and girls on the same day at the same place. So
North Rose Wolcott's a team we didn't mention. I think's improved this year. We'll see how well they're improved on Wednesday night against at Clyde Savannah. And then there's that Lions-Ganonda game. Boy, big week for Lions early. At Ganonda and where's the Geneva game?
That's in 2 weeks.
That's in 2 weeks. Where is that? Is that it?
It's at Geneva.
That's at Geneva too. So a couple tough road games. And Kyle, Lions playing in the community center this year?
No, they're actually back at the high school because of
At the Atwood?
yeah,
Wow.
because of renovations going on at the community center. I don't know what exactly they are. Maybe something just new with the gym. But yeah, all games, girls games too, of course, at the high school where it's packed in.
Oh, it's unbelievable atmosphere.
Yeah.
Tough ticket for a big game, but
Yeah.
in the community center is certainly a lot more comfortable. And that can also be a rough place to play as an opponent, but nothing like the Atwood, which is about the size of this anchor desk here.
Old school bandbox.
Yeah. Girls week ahead.
Ugh, there we go.
Anybody stand out here? Looks to me like I see Lions and Clyde. That should be a
Lions,
good one, huh?
Tomorrow night.
Wayne at Bloomfield, early season test for both teams there on Wednesday.
Newark at Penn Yan, Waterloo at Palmac. That's a huge one on Wednesday.
Whitman, I highlight it, but Marcus Whitman at Dundee Bradford. Dundee Bradford has been the bell cow for the West and the girls' side the past couple of years. Whitman
might be looking to finally get some comeuppance.
get the title. So
Also, I see up there Clyde Savannah at Williamson Marion. It'd be interesting to see how that one plays out. And Penn Yan is coming to Minders on Friday, or is that Saturday?
Friday.
It's Friday, yeah. So some good games on the slates, both boys and girls here as we head towards Christmas. And then after this week, Christmas week's always a little funky. Some teams don't play at all. Some teams go play in a holiday tournament somewhere.
And one thing to mention quick, the Wayne boys are actually going to Florida on, I mean, they could already be there.
Yeah, they did that last year.
Yeah, Thursday they're starting a tournament. So
they got the one game tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. So
They play some really good competition down there.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough to gauge, though. Like, we don't know anything about it's tough for us to learn about our local teams, let alone teams from different parts of the country, how they're going to stack up.
2 years ago they went down, or was it last year they went down?
Maybe it was 2 years
I
ago.
don't remember, but
it seems like they go every year.
Yeah.
either way, I know I recognize the North Allegheny team that they're playing. Shout out Western Pennsylvania. So did recognize that, but other than that, I didn't recognize the other two schools that they got. So yeah, who knows there, but part of it.
Well, good job, fellas, on the as we got another season of high school basketball underway here on FingerLakes1.com. We're glad you're along for the ride here. Like and share this video, please, and of course, check FingerLakes1.com. Every night, Kyle's getting those results up, right around 10:30.
Sometimes I try to do it 9:30.
Yeah, I mean,
I try to do it early. I try to get right on it.
you are on top of it, and
But just a quick message to all the coaches and athletic trainers.
All right.
I mean, guys, if you could just send stats to our, email, Kyle@fingerlakes1.com, or, even message us. Anything is good at this point.
Yeah, reach out to Kyle at Kyle@fingerlakes1.com, or like you say, give us a call. We can connect with our text messages. Our office phone here is 315-712-0104. You can leave a message, and we can, like I say, connect via text, and that way Kyle can reach out with a question after a big game, and help our coverage and further be able to spotlight your student athletes that you're coaching. But it is frustrating when we can't get simple information like a score sometimes, from a certain game.
Yeah,
Let alone the leading scores.
Or it comes the next morning, halfway into the morning where our article's already been out 13, 14 hours,
Yep.
So.
And you're hurting, the exposure for your kids. So we do our best. We love it. Kyle does a great job. And it's great as a high school basketball fan to be able to check that night, not even wait till the next morning, which, of course, it's still there in the morning. But I'm always checking it out, usually around 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'll pop up and just see what happened that night. And also, of course, for the bigger games, you can check out all the webcasts that are provided by the schools. And then we're going to be hitting the road soon, Paul, right?
Yeah, to be determined for this week. We're going to do a game this week. but to be determined. But yeah, there won't be anything next week. It's tough because of the way the holiday falls.
We gotta enjoy
There's
Christmas.
like a couple games at the start of the week, but really it's the week after. Really, that Lions Geneva game we have highlighted obviously on Monday, and then that Honeoye Lions game bookends the week on Friday in the New Year. So those two games, I would say more than likely. Obviously, nothing guaranteed and whatever, but I feel like something rough would have to happen for us not to be at those two games for sure. So, for sure, something at the end of the week. Keep an eye on Finger Lakes 1 for that, and then week off for the holiday. But yeah, to bookend 2025 and kick off 2026 with the games that we kind of have circled. They were the first two games I saw when we were putting in the schedules. I was like, yes, like we have to be there. So, looking forward to those.
2026 sectional titles are just about 3 months away here, gang. So, hold on tight. It should be a great season as usual here on FingerLakes1.com. So thanks for joining us on the Upstate Hoops Podcast. Connect with us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Our audio-only podcast is available most everywhere you enjoy your audio content. You can also find our show, live stream games, and local news, weather, and sports 24/7 at FingerLakes1.com. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week on Monday. So until then, get out there in the gyms and enjoy some of these great games on tap.